You're listening to Interactive Wrestling Radio, featuring the Interactive Interview, courtesy of WrestlingEpicenter.com.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. I'd like to welcome you to this week's Impact Wrestling Press Pass podcast. This is Ross Foreman, and let me open up the phone line. First, welcome Josh Matthews. Josh, how's it going today?
Hey, Ross. I'm good, buddy. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. Been a couple of weeks since we've talked in this podcast. So, what's going on with you? And let's update everybody on where we're at in Impact these days.
Well, what's going on with me is just another Friday of work. But the good news is I have the Pebble Beach Pro-Am to keep me company this weekend and today. So that's on the TV. But just looking forward to the show tonight. We've got a few hours to go until a brand new Impact tonight at, of course, 10 p.m. Eastern. And you can join myself. And I believe Don will be with me tonight. I know that Don is traveling, and I'm hoping that he will be joining us on Twitch tonight on the simulcast. But I'll be there live during all the commercial breaks. You guys can talk to myself, and Eddie Edwards will be on the chat tonight, as well as Rosemary. They'll be in the chat with everybody. And then the post-show that kicks off at midnight and goes till about 12:10, 12:15 will feature Dave and Jake Christ, and I thought that those guys would be great guests on the post-show tonight, considering our main event is the Lucha Brothers versus LAX for the World Tag Team titles, a rematch from Homecoming. And if you are a fan of great wrestling, then I suggest you tune in tonight. DVR if you have to, but find a way to watch this match tonight between the Lucha Brothers and LAX. It's absolutely insane. Great tag team match that is our main event tonight. And Dave and Jake will be in action as well. They'll kick off the night against Willie Mack and Rich Swann. So that'll be a match that you'll see at the very beginning of Impact, and the action continues throughout the night. Just a great show in Mexico City that puts us 7 nights away from Uncaged, which airs next Friday. So 7 nights from tonight. And then Uncaged, of course, features the World Championship match between Brian Cage and Johnny Impact, and some other great matches. Taya Valkyrie versus Tessa Blanchard, Knockout Street Fight for the Knockouts Championship. That'll be a great one. And then while you're watching Uncaged next week, be sure to go to shopimpact.com for the Uncaged sale. Use the promo code Uncaged15, 15% off select items. The new Brian Cage shirt is there. I Instagrammed this morning the new LAX shirt, which I think is one of the best shirts that we've done in recent memory. So we're really trying to, amp up our merch game and our design game, and also we're going to try to get into some other things. Once we get our T-shirts done, we're gonna look to do some other stuff too. So to sort of broaden the horizons of what you guys can get at Shop Impact. And those shirts will be available when we're in Las Vegas next week, the 15th, 16th, and 17th, Samstown Casino. Tickets are still available. You can get them at samstownlv.com. I can say that we are trending in a great direction for having some great houses, 3 great nights of television, which is really cool. Always great to see that as I look at those reports daily. So those are going to be 3 exciting nights. We do still have a few VIP packages left for Vegas. Those are available at ImpactWrestling.com. Just go to our events, and you can scroll down and see the VIP for Vegas. That's February, March 1st and 2nd. We are going to be working with, I don't know if the press release has come out yet. Ross, have you seen the press release yet, or should I just go ahead and break the news?
No.
Well, I'll just tell you guys, we will be working with OVW, Ohio Valley Wrestling, and Al Snow, and they're going to put out something today, hopefully, if not today, Monday. But you heard it here first on Press Pass. We'll be doing a one night only with OVW and that group. I think we're all very excited to work with them, and that'll be coming on GWN soon. And then you've got on March 1st, we'll be with Rockstar Pro again in Dayton for a Twitch that will air the following day, that will air on March 2nd, and then March 2nd we'll tape the show for later in the month. So a lot happening on those fronts, Twitch and then one night only. And then April, of course, Culture Clash switched to United We Stand. We do want to say thank you to House of Glory and Brian XL, who runs House of Glory, for being so accommodating with understanding that we needed to switch that show in partnership with MLW and moving to 11 o'clock on Thursday. It was literally, I told somebody this the other day on the phone, it was 100% due to the curfew in New York. It had nothing else to do with anything. So let the speculation die there. As to why the show had to switch to Thursday at 11. The reason being the curfew, and the reason we want everyone to be able to see, all the great shows that are happening, and obviously some talent needing to get from one to the other. So that's why we'll be Thursday at 11. United We Stand in partnership with WrestlePro. We love working with WrestlePro, and we do look forward to working with House of Glory in the near future. I just talked to those guys yesterday, so we're just trying to figure out what it is we can do and when we can do that with those guys. We hope to have a great show and a great lineup for Culture Clash. That's April. Let's see. We'll find out the main event for United We Stand tonight on Impact, and I think once we find that out, tickets are going to rapidly increase for April 4th, and that'll be announced tonight. I can't give that one away. That'll be announced tonight on Impact. So a lot happening. A lot happening in the world of wrestling, and a lot happening in Impact. So Ross, per usual, fact check me. Did I miss anything?
April 28th.
April 28th is Rebellion, Ross. Everyone already knows about Rebellion.
You didn't mention it.
April 28th, Rebellion, of course, in Toronto. TV also, Rebel Entertainment Complex. We love that building. I love the photos we get in that building. Those tickets will be available March 4th. Monday, March 4th, we'll do VIP and all other tickets all at the same day. Maybe we'll do VIP a couple hours early, and we'll do regular standard tickets and combo packages. Maybe let's call that noon, and let's do VIP, call it 10 o'clock, all Eastern time, and you guys can join us in Toronto in late April. So I think that's it, right, Ross? Anything else?
Nope, I think you're spot on right now.
That's it, everything, huh?
You got it.
Okay. Hey, Ross, before you, I know we've got Disqo. I think that's really cool. You want to do some? How about we do like 5 questions for me, and then Disqo, who's been patiently waiting, you guys can have some fun with him. If there are any questions for me, if not, I'm gonna turn it over to you and Disqo. What do you want to do?
All right, well, we'll open up at this point. Strictly calls, questions for Josh, if you guys would, and then we'll bring in Glenn momentarily.
Glenn, I can't call him Disqo, can I?
Well, I'm sure there's some legal rulings on that, but...
yeah, hasn't WCW been closed for a few years now?
I don't know, a month or two.
Q&A session has started. To ask your question, please press *6.
For Josh, please *6 to get in queue. Identify yourself and your media outlet, and we'll kick through a couple questions for Josh, and then we'll bring in dear close, longtime friend, Glen Gilberti.
I can't wait to hear what Glenn has to say.
Hi, Josh. This is Nick Hausman with Wrestling Inc. Thanks so much for taking the time today.
Hey, Nick. How are you, buddy?
I'm good. My question for you is about the Lucha Brothers. Last night, they were announced as AEW talent. I was just wondering what that means for their long-term roles with Impact Wrestling.
One, nice coverage last night. I was following along with your stream until the stream started at 9 o'clock, so thank you for that.
You're welcome.
I think that, we saw that last night. I think you would have to be living under a rock if you didn't expect those guys to show up last night in Las Vegas. It came as no surprise to me to see them there. And, all I can say is they're in the main event tonight. Rebellion's right around the corner. I think that tonight when we announce the main event for United We Stand, that might shed a little more light. And then as for the long term, I don't know. And that's not me. Like, I hate being vague or vagary at all. So that's just me being 100% honest with you guys. I mean, I think that Pentagon and Phoenix, even if you hear the way I call their matches, I think those guys are amazing. I think they have so much upside. I think that, we're just scratching the surface on Phoenix, and I think the Pentagon Jr. is one of the best in the world. And then I also, to that note, I think that LAX to me is an Impact-born tag team, an Impact-made tag team, Santana and Ortiz. So, short term, I'm looking forward to seeing that match. I'm looking forward to seeing some other things. Long term, who's to say what's going to happen? Who's to say, where anyone's going to go? And that's the exciting thing about wrestling right now is that you don't know. None of us know, even on the inside, what truly is going to happen, where everyone's going to go, what's going to end up. And, obviously my allegiance lies with Impact. So obviously, the more guys that we see come here, the better it is for all of us. And, as someone who's been in the wrestling business my whole life as an adult, I just think that, seeing all these different things open up and all these different avenues and more. I just had a conference call with another company a little while ago, and I was telling them that this right now is a wrestling boom. And, hopefully we all reap the benefits from this boom.
Hey Josh, Riju from Sportskida.
Riju, I don't know, buddy. I don't know, man. I don't know. I hope soon. I hope it happens soon, but I don't know, man. There's a lot of travel that has to be determined and a lot of different things.
I know you were calling United yesterday. What was that all about?
Well, I had to call United, and maybe that's not even your question. Is that your question this week?
That is not my question this week. My question is, so 2018, So 2018 has 3 pay-per-view events, and 2019 seems to have 4. I mean, if you count Slammiversary and Bound for Glory as well. Is this a tradition that will continue, 4 pay-per-views in a year? Also, is the April pay-per-view going to be called something like Rebellion? Sounds like a successor to Redemption. So is this series going to be...
I think 4 is probably, you're probably right that we will see 4 going forward. And I think that you have your staples like Bound for Glory and Slammiversary, and then I think that you can play around with the other ones. Obviously next January, if we don't go to Nashville, I don't see how you call that show Homecoming. I don't think you can have Redemption again, so now you have Rebellion, and I think that's cool. I think, being a part of WWE for as long as I was and watching all the different names of all the different pay-per-views, and then it sort of fell into Backlash. I forget all the other ones that we had. But, you can't have Redemption again and, again, Homecoming, unless you do Nashville again and call it Homecoming Part 2. I think it's cool to change them up, but, and then you find the branding. I know that, our graphics design team, Ben and Dan probably would love to just have all of them stay the same so they don't have to change graphics a lot. But, again, I'm a fan of the 6-week story arc, the show 1907 Unpaged. I'm a fan of those names. I'm a fan of themes, shows having names, pay-per-views changing names. So, 4 pay-per-views, I think that's cool. I think that's what you'll see going forward. And then I think the 2 name changes, rotating names, different themes, I think, is probably, I would bet more along the lines that you'll see different names of different shows going forward.
Thank you.
Couple more, Ross?
I don't understand why we should never ask if I know about the next time we're going to India. He always asks you.
Yeah, I think they've figured out that you don't really know much of anything.
All right, well, I do know one thing, and you might want to know this too. The guy on the line right now, if you need to know anything about your Pebble Beach Pro-Am, the favorites, the underdogs, the guys who are going to, bogeys and all that stuff, he'll know this one. If you want to know, Josh, you're the type of guy, when we go to Vegas, you're probably going to put some bets down on spring training baseball. That's what you do. Glenn will know those answers too. So I'd actually like to bring in right now. There's no time to wait. Let's bring in Glen Gilberti. Glenn, how you doing?
I'm fine. I'm sitting here muted, listening to you guys.
Hey, Glenn, can I ask you a question before I let you? Was that you that was listening to 50 Cent before their line was muted?
No. 50 Cent?
Are you sure?
Was on?
Yeah. In the Club, I believe is the name of the song.
In the Club. No, I was not listening to that.
Yeah. That wasn't you?
That was not me.
Yeah, I don't believe you.
All right. That's my first question today?
That was the fastball that
was an easy one. That was an easy one.
Well, Glenn, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Ross. Good to be reconnecting with you, Josh. Good to hear from you. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing great.
Yeah, it's great.
How often do you do these?
Ross
media calls?
tries to set these up every day. He tries to do a media call every day, and we've got
really.
We've convinced him that that once a week is good, not daily. Every week is how we do these.
Jesus.
You want to be the new host? I can make that happen for you.
I'm fine. I wouldn't mind. I could be a recurring guest host possibly.
Okay. I know that 5150 is your normal gig.
Right. You can actually
keeping it 100. What show are you on? Keeping it 100? Is that what you guys call it? Is that Conan show?
I do the Keep It 100 every week, and I do the Russo show every week. One show that on his network that I do. So I'm tapped out podcasting, to be honest with you. I get these people that want me to come on all the time and do their podcast. It's like, look, we record for like 3 to 3.5 hours of content each week with Conan, and like another hour with Vince, and it's just like I've got a job. I don't really I work out. I don't have time for any more podcasts. I made time for you guys, though. I made time for this. I'm a creature of habit, and I did make time for this
because we get to talk to media, right? Like I don't think on your podcast you guys do questions and stuff, right?
I've never done one of these before. I mean, I guess this is like the evolution of wrestling. Is there's media conference calls. So I mean, like this is the thing that I'd never really I'd never really heard of until a couple months ago.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. So we've got media from all over the world. Raj is on from India. Stephanie's here from France, and they'll ask you a bunch of questions. This is a lot of fun.
Oh, that sounds good. So India and France are being represented?
Yeah, and you never know who else is listening. Mike Johnson is usually on, but he never asks any questions.
Right.
So it's a bunch of people from all over the place. Nick is on from Wrestling Inc., which is I saw the other day that they get like 10 million viewers a month, and they never thanked me because I used to put their stuff on ImpactWrestling.com and got them over.
Right.
So
they're very not gracious at all for the work you've done for them.
Exactly.
Yeah. So what's up? So what do you guys got?
So Glenn, I guess we should just ask you right off. Last time we were in Vegas, probably wasn't the highlight of your career.
What do you mean by that? No, it wasn't the highlight. Of course, not the highlight of my career. I mean, but bro, I've won the world. I won belts in WCW. I did a lot of work in TNA and the Impact, the Asylum years. I've been in Impact and stuff. I don't think there's any more highlights left in my career. I think I've had all the highlights. But last time, the one thing is that my appearance on Impact shockingly caused an increase in the ratings on a night when traditionally the numbers go down. And I consider myself, my appearance was strictly because of me and me alone. I'll take full credit for it. And I think, maybe it wasn't a highlight the way the show, the way the finish of the match came out, but it was a highlight in the fact that basically I'm still an A-list wrestling personality, and the fans view me that way.
Well, without question.
Glenn, I'll say this. I don't think anyone's ever looked better in a turkey suit than you did.
Well, I stay in good shape. So, I mean,
you look
actually, there, I mean, I could, if you guys, there's a lot of the fashion show mall. There's a lot of good shopping here in Vegas. You guys probably could have found a better, a more expensive looking turkey suit than that. If you would have gone shopping.
One every year. It's
yeah, I know. That's kind of a weird tradition. I think you guys should upgrade maybe.
Well, hey man, I mean, I think you're right. Ross, can you get us a new turkey suit, please?
You got it. 2019, we'll have a brand new turkey suit.
Attaboy, Ross. Well, you do good work over there, Ross.
Thank you there, Glenn. It's appreciate it. So we're coming back 15th, 16th, 17th next week. I'm sure you'll be around. Your thoughts?
Mm-hmm. My thoughts? Okay. Oh, okay. Well, what do you really want to get my thoughts? What do you want to start from birth or just my state of mind right now or thoughts on next
here you
weekend?
go. How about this, Glenn? The reason that you put the suit on and the reason you were in the match was because you were trying to impress Scarlett. So are you looking to get Scarlett in the club? Like what's your deal? Knowing that she's going to be in your city in a week.
Well, she's been. I mean, she's been to Vegas before. I mean, she probably knows the town. I'm trying. She kind of she kind of was a little disrespectful to me. The last time we performed together out there, I was definitely affectionate towards her, and I thought I was putting the moves on her, and she had a very flippant response. She kind of made fun of me a little bit. I didn't think that was warranted. I think honestly, I told Don Callis that I mean she could find in her heart to apologize. I think that would be in order. So when I see her, I'm sure she'll apologize for the way she treated me last time. But the guys there, I'm looking forward to this. Vegas is my town, all right, and it's there's going to be, for some reason, I don't know what it is, but the fans at Sam's Town, whether I've wrestled there for Future Stars or Impact or whatever, they're very disrespectful towards me. They don't really. I don't think they appreciate the talent that I have. I don't think a lot of the fans these days remember how over I was because they're it's a younger crowd these days. But I was a big star, and I've always considered myself a big arena performer. And so I'm going to have probably some fans there at Sam's Town next weekend. But there's always these little these trolly fans that come that just try to get under your skin. But they don't bother me. I pride myself on having 97%. Oh, by the way, Josh, I got a little bone to pick with you here. Okay, you were supposed to so I've got almost 19,000 followers now on Twitter, and I don't know and I don't have the blue check mark. All right, Conan had told me that he was supposed to get me a blue check mark. All right.
Okay.
And he said his story was that you were the one that had the hookup for the blue check marks. Now, Conan has since told me that you don't have the hookup for the blue check marks anymore, and I just want to know if that is an accurate depiction of the events as told by Conan, or is that true?
No, it's 100% true.
How did you lose your hookup?
Well, it was an agency that I used to work with pretty closely in LA, and then don't work with them anymore. I mean that's the truth of the story.
So you having a falling out with the agency that you worked with before has contributed to my lack of blue check mark on Twitter right now. Can I make that statement?
It wasn't a falling out. It was just the business arrangement came to an end, and everyone went their separate ways, and that was that.
Well, can you help? Do you have any other connections on me getting a blue check mark?
No, man. I wish I did. I got everyone Instagram verified and Twitter verified.
Wait a minute. So you can do the Instagram too, or you can't anymore?
No, I got nothing. I can't help you at all.
Oh, so you got your check marks, and then you just kind of kind of helped a couple other people. I question this. I think that maybe you still have the hookup, but you just don't want to take the time out to do it.
I mean, it would be an email. All I have to do is send an email.
Well, why don't you send an email? Give me blue. Don't you think that a verified blue check mark performer should be performing on Impact next weekend?
Yeah, no, I see your point, man. I really do. I'm going to see what I can do for you.
Oh, okay, good. I like that.
Yeah.
I need a blue. I should have a blue check mark. I'm not that big on promoting myself on Twitter. I basically am just a provocateur and troll people and stuff and all that. But I don't block anybody hardly. I just started blocking all these parody accounts that come up. For some reason, this idiot Conan, he told everybody to start making all these parody accounts, right? So now my timeline was filled with these disturbing people that have all these parody accounts like Disco Master PP and Polly Esther, the Evil Taylor, all these parody accounts. And they were all arguing with each other when I was looking at my notifications, I have 100 and something notifications, and all my notifications on Twitter just these schmucks arguing with each other. So I had to start blocking
I feel like
people.
you're an arguing guy on Twitter. I feel like when I look at your Twitter, you're always arguing with people.
Oh well, they try to they try to disagree. They try to disagree with me, and that's a mistake.
Just ignore them.
Because I get a guilty pleasure out of engaging with disturbed individuals on Twitter for some reason. I don't know.
Okay. All right, man. I mean, to each his own, right? I mean, that's cool, I guess.
Yeah. That's the rest of the evolution of wrestling. Is where
Sure.
you can literally talk to the fans that come and watch you perform. You can engage with them in private in chat. You can chat with them online. Online.
How do you feel that has affected wrestling in a good way, a bad way? I mean,
it should be. It should be a completely. If the boys knew how to do it, it should be completely a positive, because you could basically embrace your character online 24/7. But unfortunately, the wrestlers today don't like people saying bad things about them because it hurts their feelings, and they just like to use Twitter to try to get satisfaction, gratification off of it. I would use Twitter. I would just be in character 24/7. What else would the purpose be? To improve my brand, right?
To improve your brand, to get free stuff.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think Twitter should be a positive. Overall, I think it's been a negative because a lot of people get in trouble on Twitter, and in this day and age, you got to watch what you say. You got to, there's all the PC culture now and everything. So, but
what they say, Disqo, don't drink and tweet.
Right. Don't press send. Or don't. Yeah. So, I don't know. I think some guys use their Twitter account very well, or their social media well, and I think others just use it as a detriment to their persona. I don't want to. If I'm a wrestling fan, and I'm engaged in the show and the characters, I don't want to see the characters, putting selfies with the people they're wrestling against, smiling and everything. I just don't want to see that.
Yeah.
If I want to be engaged, if I want to watch your show, I kind of want the characters, when the show's over, to kind of still be the characters. Not themselves, not showing foodie pics and stuff and everything. And I don't know. I just think that they should that the heels especially should embrace their ability to be able to further their characters online. I think that they should, if you're a heel, you should basically you should heel on people all the time.
You make a great point.
That's the art of not being liked is what a heel is supposed to do. So, but these heels, they'll be a heel on the show, they'll get heat and stuff and everything, and then they'll get on Twitter and it's like, oh hey, look at this, look at me and my kid. What a cute kid I have. My kid's playing with this. I'm like, that's great. I like you now. I don't like you anymore. So now I'm going to go to the show and I'm going to cheer you instead of boo you, and you want to be a heel. So it's like, okay, you just screwed up,
Well, I think you should heel on the questions that you're about to get from all the media that Ross is about to open up the line for.
Well, if I don't like the questions, I will.
There you go. Guys, be careful with your questions.
You've been forewarned.
You can ask anything. Look, here's one thing about me, and anybody's ready to ask any questions, is I have thick skin. Okay? People try to get under my skin, and it usually doesn't work. And so, just go ahead. You guys can ask me whatever you want. I don't care.
All righty, media. A few questions for Glen Gilberti, Josh Matthews, *6 to get in queue. First one we'll do for you, Glenn. We'll go overseas, since I know you were curious about our international contingent.
Where are we going?
Ladies first tonight. Hello, Glenn, Ross, and Josh. Stephanie from Steel Chair Magazine in UK, calling you from France. Hello.
Where in the UK are you located?
France.
Oh, you're where?
France.
You're from France?
Yes.
But you just said you're in the UK.
Yeah, but I'm working for a British media.
Okay, you're working for British. That's what I'm saying. So so you're French. I'm a big fan of French fries, by the way. But are you located in the UK? Because that's what I want to know. What town? What city in the UK is this located in?
No, I'm living in France.
Oh, you're living in France. Where in France? Where in France?
I'm French, but I'm working for British media.
Okay.
So
what's your question?
My question, I have 500 questions. What are your thoughts on the current Impact roster? The guys you appreciate or not? And I think your thoughts on one guy in particular that you trained, as it seems, a master of doom. I think everybody understood who I'm talking about. So what are your thoughts on the 2018 Impact roster? Thank you, Glenn.
Okay. Let me tell you just the guys I'm a fan of. I'm a fan of Eli Drake. I've been a fan of Eli Drake for years. Eli Drake came through Future Stars of Wrestling Vegas, and the first time I saw the guy perform and with the mic in his hand, I was like, well, this guy's a star. Obviously this guy's going to make something of himself because he can talk and he knows what to do, and he looks like $1 million. Big fan of Johnny Impact. Think he's got a great look. Got a good mind, got a good head on his shoulders. Kind of has embraced that, that fusion of the new school style and the old school style, which I like. I think he's got a very entertaining offensive skill set and innovative. He doesn't do too much out there. I just think he's a consummate pro. Big fan of Moose. Comes across as the real deal. I like real athletes. I like guys that have played professional sports. I'm a fan of LAX. I wish at some point they would turn on Conan, because Conan's kind of like a dirtbag, and his true colors should come out. They should turn on him because he's just a low life. I like, and of course, I helped train Kevin Cross, Killer Cross, and I was a big fan. Just some guys. One thing I can say about in professional wrestling is guys that I have thought had it, you usually do. Like, I'm a pretty good judge of talent. Like, if guys I think are like, when I think they're talented, and I think maybe 2 to 3 years ago I was talking about Cross on the podcast and stuff. I mean that this guy was just if you just watched the videos that he would make on himself on YouTube, if you've ever just been privy to those, just go on his the Killer Cross YouTube page, and you'll just watch, like, you could take 4 or 5 of the videos that he's done, and those could be the vignettes for him coming onto the show, and he would be a well-defined, top guy, which he has become. So, yeah, I'm a big fan of Cross. I'm a big fan of the guys that have embraced the verbal skills, because I still think the verbal skills are what gets you over, as opposed to, this new day and age in here where the quality or the ring work and how many stars you get in your matches somehow become more important than character development and promo ability, which I think you could show a lot of evidence that character development and promo ability still to this day are the most important things for professional wrestlers to have. And I think a lot of the guys I just mentioned, they all have that.
No women that you are a fan of?
The one, yeah, Scarlett Bordeaux is a big fan. I'm a fan of the woman. Let me be honest with you. Okay, I'm not a big fan of women's wrestling. Okay, because it's saying to me, women's wrestling is kind of like the WNBA. They're good. They're the best female basketball players in the world, but they're not as good as the guys. An NBA game to me is more entertaining than a WNBA game. Now, I'm not saying that there's not a lot of talented women wrestlers. Okay, but I think that the formula has shown in the past that regardless of your in-ring work, the more attractive you are as a female performer, has usually determined how over you are. So I am a fan of the women in wrestling today that can combine good looks with good work. And I'll be honest. If there's a girl out there that like maybe her work isn't as good, but she's hotter and knows how to show some sex appeal out there, I'm a fan of that. I just think that, there's been a formula in professional wrestling and TV over the years that sex appeal sells, and you really can't. It's not you can't. You can't really even argue against that. Like all the studies that you do will show, like that the more attractive women have more followers on Twitter and Instagram and stuff, and that they're more popular. And I think Scarlett does that very well. I think she's an excellent character of the show, and plus a lot of the other girls they have on there can work well. And but like I think today in wrestling as a whole, collectively, there's too many women wrestlers given the amount of time that there is given to the TV shows today. Like I think the women's product has been diluted a little bit because we got a lot of girls in here and maybe they're good workers, and they can work, but 18 to 34-year-old male audience, you want to see like really hot chicks, and I think that really can't be argued.
Hope that a female interviewer was not a problem for you.
Was what now?
I hope the fact that I'm the woman interviewing you was not a problem for you.
What, wrestling a woman was not a problem for me?
No.
Talking to me.
Oh, talking to you? No, not at all. Not at all. No, not at all. I'm just I've been very clear. If you listen to my podcast, I've been very clear. My position on women wrestling and stuff, everything for years. I just like I said, there's no.
I'm listening to Conan podcast, so I know.
Oh, well, I was going to say, it's like I've said, I was a big fan. Like to me, my favorite women's wrestler of all time was Velvet Sky. Because Velvet Sky was my favorite. I thought she was the Beautiful People. I thought was a great gimmick for two female professional wrestlers. And they looked great. They had a great entrance and stuff, everything, and they could wrestle and stuff, everything. I was a big fan of that. But like I said, but collectively, I'm not a big fan of women's wrestling. Because I can't just sit there and watch that. They had that Mae Young Classic on the WWE. I can't watch that. It's like professional wrestling to me is based around grown men, that want to fight each other. And that's what I've grown up watching. That's what I've always been a fan of, and that's what's always drawn me to this business. And that's and the promos that lead up to it, the personal conflicts they have, and it's just I don't know. It's just that's what I'm a fan of.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you from France. Maybe if you've ever come to the States, we'll go eat some French fries.
Absolutely, I do the best French fries in the world.
Outstanding. I'm a big fan of French kissing, too.
Me too.
I think we better move along to the next question before we get a little more out of control here.
What else you got, Ross? Who's next?
Hey, Glenn. This is Riju from Sportskida in India. Believe it or not, I'm doing great, man. I used to play the WCW game as Disqo Inferno around 20 years ago. So it's
wait, why would you do that?
Wait, time out, Ross. Let me make a statement on that. That's one thing I get from a lot of people is that they used to. My character in the WCW game was a lot stronger than my character on TV. Like for some reason, my character in the video games was always a lot of people come to me and said, "Hey, I always used to play your character in the WCW video game." Like a considerable amount of people said that. So they say I was their favorite character. And I never played that video game, but if that's true, I think that's good casting.
And the character would go over Goldberg and Hogan.
Yeah,
in the game.
That's the way art should have imitated real life. They should have put me over those guys. It probably would have been more popular.
Fantastic, man. My question is, so you have been a part of various incarnations of Impact Wrestling. How does the roster of today size up to the classic roster? Interesting.
I got to be honest. I think this. Well, you go back in when I started in TNA during the Asylum years in 2003. We had young AJ Styles, Kazarian, Daniels, Chris Sabin, all these. We had a lot of innovative guys that have gone and had prominent careers and stuff. And the style back then was kind of like, it was flashy. It was starting to get more high-flying stuff. You're getting in the high spots, but it was still grounded in a lot of the basic skills. And what I mean by that is, back in the day, when I grew up watching professional wrestling, a lot of guys used to throw fists. You punch, you kick, you beat guys up and stuff and then you intersperse high spots. I see a lot of wrestlers today, and they're talented. And they're acrobatic and stuff and everything, and they have incredible athletic skill. But a lot of guys today, and professional wrestlers, even prominent guys on TV and stuff, when it comes time to beat a guy up, a lot of these guys don't look like they know how to fight for real. And I think that's a skill that every professional wrestler should have. Is that you should look like. That if it's a fight, if you're fighting in there, you look like you know how to fight. And because people emphasize these days more acrobatics and more high spots and more dives and stuff, it's like that skill hasn't really been paid attention to that much, and not a lot of people do it anymore. And I think that's missing from the product. And so I would say I think that the skill level back in the day was. I'll say this. It takes more, because a lot of guys can't do it, it takes more skill to look like you know how to fight for real than it does to do acrobatic stuff. Because you can see everybody can do acrobatic stuff today. But not a lot of people look like the real deal out there, look like they know how to kick people's butt for real. And so I would say I think that the skill level back in the day is better than it is today, but maybe that the athleticism is a lot better today than it used to be, because people are willing to risk things more and do more entertaining acrobatic things that catch the eye. But the skill level back in the day, I think, was better than it is today, to be honest.
Great. And a quick follow-up. If you had to manage someone from the current roster, whom would you choose?
Cross.
Okay.
I'd want to manage the top guy. Yeah, I wouldn't want to manage a bum. I'd want to manage like a top guy. So, because then I'd be a top guy.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Glenn, a follow-up question we got here emailed in from Mike. I think the perfect segue from Riju's question was, if you had one final run as a tag team wrestler, who in Impact would you want as your tag team partner?
Oh boy, one more run as a tag team. Who? I'd like to work with Eli Drake. If I would say, I just think Eli he gets it. He can talk. He knows how to wrestle. He wrestles intelligently. He doesn't get hurt. And I'm just a big fan of the guy. That's who I would pick. Was that the wrong answer or something?
No, it's a fine answer.
That's your last answer. So,
hi, Glenn. This is Nick Hausman from Wrestling Inc. How are you doing today?
Pretty good, Nick. What's going on?
Good. I was just wondering. Obviously, the stuff you just said about women's wrestling would be, pretty controversial in the landscape right now.
Right. So I know that, but I'm not gonna. I'm never gonna tell people things they want to hear. I'm just going to give you my opinion of things, and that's it. If my opinion is not in with everybody else's, like, hey, then that's let that be. But that's the way I feel, So I'm going to be pretty honest. So I'm not going to lie. So
that you have the right to your opinion. I'm just wondering if that has caused you to butt heads with anybody backstage at Impact. Has that been an issue? Any of your comments?
Oh no. Oh, bro, let me tell you something. One thing that people don't realize is that whenever I've been in the business, and Ross will tell you this, I'm liked by the crew. Like, people don't have he would be the deal. And once you get to know me, I'm basically telling, fans don't really get to, any fan that meets me, anybody that meets, that I'm a pretty good guy. You're not going to find a lot of people in this business that have a lot of negative things to say about me. Maybe they'll say bad things about stuff I've said, but me on a personal level, if you get to know me, I have tremendous respect for the workers. Bro, I'm when I say this stuff, when I talk about this, I'm speaking from a standpoint of a person who's been in the business for 26 years, been on booking committees, and been an agent. Okay, so I'm talking from an educated opinion. If I was working with people that and this is the thing, some of the people I've criticized, okay, on the podcast I've done are people I have worked with and been agents for their matches and stuff. The criticisms I give that I tell the fans of podcasts, that people hear me like I'm telling right now, are the same things that I would say to these people. Like, so I'm not like, I'm not like telling people stuff I wouldn't say right to their faces. Okay, and I don't like as a blanket thing, like, I'm not saying like I hate all women's wrestling. Okay, but like just as a genre, I never grew up really a fan of it. Okay, but like I said, like Gail Kim to me is probably arguably the best female wrestler. Like that, her, Charlotte. There's a lot of tremendous, excellent, women wrestlers out there. Okay, and like when they wrestle each other, I'm a fan of that. But just like I said, it's like to me, it's like WNBA and NBA. It's like I'm not a fan of the WNBA. I'm a fan of the NBA, and that's the way I look at women's wrestling. It's not so much And the thing is, like, people, like, in this PC culture, people maybe want to pigeonhole you and think, like, oh, that's sexist. It's not really. It's like, is it sexist to not be a fan of the WNBA and be a fan of the NBA? That's just a personal preference. I'm just not a fan of that stuff. So, like, but the girls that I've seen, like, a lot of the talented women out there, women wrestlers, they're very good at what they do. And that's, and like a lot of the girls I see out there, they do a lot of things that I wouldn't do, or that I don't think they should be doing. I think a lot of the girls, like just like the male roster, a lot of the women wrestlers, a lot of the girls are just better than the other ones. And then I think like a lot of the other ones that aren't as talented as the ones that are really good, I think kind of like we give them a pass. We're not allowed to be critical of the work of the women because that's kind of like you come across as sexist. But if you're a professional wrestler, male or female, and you're doing something I don't like or I don't think is good, from the position of being a podcaster or being an educated opinion in professional wrestling, I'm going to tell you how I feel. And you can either agree with it or not, but that's how I feel. So, and like I said, it's controversial, but it's never, ever, ever, ever been a problem for me when I go into the locker room.
Okay. My follow-up question to that would be, since you obviously are so outspoken about how you feel about different wrestlers and genres, are there any wrestlers on the Impact roster that you were initially critical of but have since won you over?
I don't think, I haven't really been critical of the Impact. Have I been critical of some of these performers? I don't recall really being critical of any of them.
No,
I'm critical. Here's just as a blanket statement. I don't care who they are. I'm critical of people that do the wrestlers that do too much acrobatics out there. That just like the match looks like, you have an idea of a bunch of acrobatic spots you want to do, and you try and piece a match around it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and so like acrobatics kind of get lost in the context of a fight, and I'm not a fan of that. And I've seen a million wrestlers do spots that I look at like that's ill-conceived, or I wouldn't do that. That's dumb. Well, why would you do that? So that's like, but like personally, or like any like seeing people that like I didn't really like their work or nothing in Impact, no, not at all. I mean, but when you get on TV, that's the one thing these days in professional wrestling. Your work is serviceable enough that you're on TV. Like there's no really bad wrestlers that are performing on TV today. Now the wrestlers that like are doing things that I wouldn't do, or if I was like their agent, I would say I would do this differently. Yeah, there's tons of them. But from a skill standpoint, there's really nobody on TV that wrestles these days. It just sucks. I mean, this is like that's what's always happened in professional wrestling is the best wrestlers get on TV. And I think Impact has a great roster.
Cool. Hey, thank you very much for the time, Glenn.
All right. What else we got, Ross?
Well,
Ross, do you have any questions for me? We haven't really talked that much over the years. Do you have anything like you want to ask me that that from
This is James.
over the past few years?
Well, I'm trying to get you some special questions. We got a new caller coming in, so let him get his questions in.
All right.
I'll chime in.
Go ahead.
This is James.
Hey, James, can you speak up a little bit?
This is James from Marietta.
Marietta, Georgia?
Anyways, my question is, I like listening to your alt-right rants and your support of Breitbart on keeping it 100. Will that be part of your persona on Impact?
No. First of all, I don't read Breitbart. Second of all, that alt-right thing is a thing made up by Conan that tries to pigeonhole me into being some white supremacist guy on the podcast, which obviously gets worked if you believe that. But no, definitely not.
Well, I'll tell you what I do believe, that you backpedaled from that last caller saying that you like women's wrestling when you in fact
Is this Conan?
All women.
Is this Conan? Conan, is this you son of a bitch? Is that you?
This is me now. The other guy was James from Marietta.
Oh, you are such a dirtbag. I can't believe you caught me on that, you jerk.
Jeez. I just wanted to say what's up.
Nothing much, man. What's going on? Are you looking forward to seeing me next weekend?
A little bit.
Yeah, I think. You know what too?
With you, less is better. Yeah.
I'm taking off work on Saturday, so I'll be there. I talked to Don. I'm going to be there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, but I'm off work Saturday and Sunday. So maybe we can go eat some all-you-can-eat sushi after the show.
Will you be at Ross Foreman's star-studded event Sunday for the bowling challenge?
The bowling challenge? No, I'm not. I'm not a fan of bowling. I'm not a fan of bowling. I bowled when I was younger. I never scored over 200. And I was like, I was never a fan of bowling.
You'd probably beat 80% of the people that are going to be in that tournament.
Oh my God, jeez.
I'll bet about 95.
Oh Jesus.
It's all about having a good time, bro.
Right. I'll probably do it.
Well, Glenn,
why don't you join us this next Sunday?
Well, I'll be there. We'll talk about it. I'm obviously going to be at the tapings. So we'll discuss it when I'm there.
All right, Ross, be cool. Di, be cool.
All right, see you later.
Perfect. Hey, thanks, Conan.
Did you set that up, Ross? Was that your idea to try to ambush me?
I'd never do that to you. Come on.
You are such a liar. You are absolute liar. I know the type of person you are. That's obviously your idea.
Come on, Glenn. You and I go back years. I would never do anything behind your back like that.
Oh, jeez, please. What else we got? We got some more questions?
Yeah, well, I think you charmed our Stephanie. She's calling back in.
Is she really?
Yeah. Yes. He definitely wants a French kiss, so I have to come back. No, I'm joking.
Stephanie, I have a question for you. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
I'm 51 years old.
You have a question for me?
Yes, I have a question for you. Do you think I'm attractive?
Do you think?
Do you think that I'm attractive? That I'm attractive?
When I was watching you when I was 17 on WCW, you were coming to the ring with these fluo pants. I thought you were pretty sexy, and I was in front of my television singing Disco Fever, Disco Fever. So, yeah. And
that was most 17-year-old girls back in the day.
You were pretty sexy. So.
Well, thank you. So, what's your question?
Hey, I want to thank you for being opinionated as you were, because I prefer to talk to people that have something to say, that people, like we say, are drowning the fish, and I thank you for that. my question was about Conan. So you're working with him on the podcast. You've known him as a wrestler, as a manager, and now he has become one of the new creative of Impact Wrestling. How do you feel about your friend becoming that, having this new role for Impact?
Well, it's not like he's not qualified to do it. I mean, the guy's like booked AAA for you. I mean, Conan's got. I don't think there's a professional wrestler that has his fingers in more jars than Conan does today. I mean, what was he? He works at Impact, MLW, AAA. You know, I mean, you Crash. You know, he did. I mean, it's a lot of stuff he's doing. So he's definitely qualified to do the job, and he definitely has. You know, me and Conan have similar mindset with professional wrestling. That the characters and entertainment are paramount. You know, that's the most important thing on the show is to be entertaining, and Conan embraces the entertainment factor and how important it is in professional wrestling. You know, because the one thing you got to realize that like. You can go to an independent wrestling show that's not televised, and you get the wrestling, you get some interviews and stuff, everything. But TV's a different animal. You know, when you have a TV show, and it's a professional wrestling show, I think what a lot of people don't realize is there's no rule book to professional wrestling. There's never been a rule book written on how a show is supposed to be written. So Impact has a 2-hour block of television every week that they can put whatever they want on there. That's entertaining, and it may not be a match, it may not be an interview, it may be a vignette, it may be it's just something, whatever it is. But Conan has a type of mind that can create entertaining television, and that's what you need as a wrestling company to prosper. Is your shows have to be entertaining, and I think Conan definitely will bring that to the table with the creative and Impact.
Yeah, definitely. Ross, maybe may I ask a second one?
Sure, go ahead.
Oh, thank you. I think we definitely have to close the subject. Who created the Ultimate X match? You
I did.
or Don?
100% I did. It's not even argued. You can go back and there's articles that were written during the time in some of the wrestling news sites that referenced this, that it was my idea. Don Callis' on-air character was the one that announced the match, but that was a character. Okay, the idea when the creative was my idea. And Scott D'Amore will tell you that he's a dirty low-down SOB too. That guy. He's trying to make it sound like he's going to side with Don on this and like pretend that that was not my idea, but he knows it's my idea. He's actually trying to tell people that I also came up with an idea of vines hanging down from the ceiling, and that the wrestlers would be swinging on vines like Tarzan in a match. And he's trying to claim that I came up with that, but that's just fake news.
Thank you, Glenn, very much, very, very much.
You're welcome. Thank you for calling.
Hey, Glenn, talk to us. How did you come up with the idea? We'll give you a little.
No lie. It's that simple. We just one day Dixie was like, in the creative meeting, with Vince and Jeff and Dutch, and everybody, we were just sitting there just coming up with that. Like, let's come up with some ideas for new matches, because wrestling's been pigeonholed into the cage match, the whatever on a pole match, the ladder match and stuff. So I was just coming up with an idea. I was like, if I was a video game guy, and I was going to, the Impact video game was going to come out, what could you use? And I was just saying, at the time I was playing Splinter Cell on Xbox, okay? And like in Splinter Cell, the guy can like rappel, like in typical video game, the guy would rappel from like building to building, So I was like, what if? Then my brain started brainstorming and I came up with the idea for the Ultimate X, kind of like as an offshoot of like, the Splinter Cell video game, and if Impact came out with a video game, this match would be a cool one to play. So that's how that idea came to fruition.
All right.
That's true. That's that's not, I'm not going to lie about that, but that's how it came true. That was my thought process, I think, because I remember that. And I'm not going to lie. You could give me a lie detector test, and I would pass it on that.
Trust me, Glenn. I actually do believe you on this one.
All right.
I do know the backstory, and I just wanted you to share it.
Yeah, and a funny story about that too. We go to TV that day, and it's the day of the match, and they had these poles, like just thin poles sticking in each corner, and they had the wire, something. But like when the guys would climb or get on the wires, because the poles were so skinny, the poles would like, they bend inward, like the pole, because like the guys were too heavy, the poles were not strong enough. And the show was going to be in like 6 hours, and we were going like, Jesus, what are we going to do? And Scott D'Amore just came up with just like at the snap of a finger, came up, oh, we'll just put the trusses up there. And I was like, oh, well, like nobody's thought of that, And Scott thought of it in like 2 seconds, and that's how that came to fruition. But it was funny because like if nobody had thought of that, that match may have never taken place, because the way they had it originally set up is it wouldn't have worked. Because the poles that they had could not sustain the body weight of the guys.
Sean Ross Sapp, Fightful.com here. I want to ask Glenn, now that his, I assume, former friend Shane Helms is no longer on Keeping It 100, will he stop rigging fantasy football games in his favor?
Who, Shane Helms?
Yes. That's the only reason he won the Canyon Cup. That's it.
What did he do? He cheated.
Yes, he cheats at everything.
He cheats at fantasy football. He cheated. He. I don't know if he. I would kick him out of your league if he was cheating. And because he's that's Shane's got that. Shane's got that southern charm, and everything. So he's got the fans hoodwinked and stuff and everything. But he's a cheater. That's the type of guy he is. He'll cut corners. He'll stab you in the back. He'll cheat to win, and everything. And that's why we fired him from the Keeping 100 podcast, or I did at least, because
we kicked him off of ours too. So I mean,
isn't that funny? Like he keeps getting fired from podcasts. Isn't that interesting?
It's. Let me chime in on something here. How do you cheat at fantasy football?
Well, that's the only way he could beat me at fantasy football. So there's something. We're going to launch an investigation.
What did he do?
Well, he actually didn't beat me. I beat him. Why are you asking questions, Ross?
Yeah, right. Yeah, Ross. This is not a counterpoint.
Well, I'm going to defend Shane. He's not here to defend himself.
He's been fired. That's why.
Yeah, he got fired.
Anyway, on a more serious note, Glenn, what creative ideas or matches for a particular maybe wrestler or a match idea did you have that maybe didn't go through that you were convinced like could have really helped someone?
Even though even though it was a joke, I still think that if you had a character on the show that was like kind of like a dunce, like whoever like the funny dunce character on the show is, I still think that if two wrestlers, like the two heels, were trying to convince another guy that there was an invisible man at the show, that you could have actually done some entertaining TV with that. And that we never did that. But I was thinking like, there's a lot of ways you could do that to make to convince somebody like a character that the invisible man exists, and that's the storyline, even though it doesn't. But like you're trying to convince the guy that it's true. I thought that could have been an entertaining angle.
The Invisible Man is always over at those Joey Janela shows.
Yeah, it is true. You don't have to pay the guy either.
That's
true. The best part, budget-wise.
Thanks, man.
All right, thanks.
Well, Glenn, I've kept you for about an hour. I know your time is money for you, so I will wrap it up with that question and give you the floor for a final thought. obviously, we'll see you a week from now. Next Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Sam's Town Live, Impact TV tapings.
I will be there. I'm not sure which days. There's 3 days of tapings. I know I'm going to be on at least one set of shows. And one thing that I'll always do is that if they're going to put me on the show, I'm going to give 110% effort to be as entertaining as possible and to try to make people that paid to watch me perform feel they got their money's worth when I was out there. And anybody that watches it on TV when it airs, you're gonna watch it and you're gonna say, you know, that was a pretty good TV. And that's what I can promise I'm gonna bring to the table next weekend at Sam's Town.
Glenn, you know it for years. You've always been the most entertaining guy on the show, and I'm sure next weekend will be no exception.
Well, Ross, you couldn't have said it any better.
Exactly. And I will invite you personally next Sunday, the 17th, to the bowling challenge. It's going to be Conan, LAX, Pentagon, Phoenix. There's a lot of not just bragging rights, but maybe a wager or two involved as well. So if you guys are going to gamble on it, I'll be there. For sure. And I'll tell you that Conan was the first champion. He won, I'm trying to think when we did this.
Wait, Conan won?
Hold on, let me tell you this. He won probably about a month after he had his hip surgery. And he told me,
the alleged hip surgery. I still think that was work.
Oh.
Yeah,
well,
I still think that was work.
Not that I'm going to have to mention that to him, but I'll be sure we bring that up to him.
Oh, no, I already mentioned it to him. I've been very vocal that there was that the timeline doesn't add up with the recovery time and the surgery. I just think it's a hoax.
Well,
to be honest with you, for
the record, he won the first one. Then the last time we were in Vegas in November, Pentagon actually crushed Conan bowling-wise. So Pentagon is your defending champion, but there are some serious wagers on that one, and trash talking as if the best you've ever seen. Oh, okay. Well, I'll definitely be there then. All right. Well, Sunday morning, the 17th, we expect you there. I've gone on record. Conan's probably not too happy because I've already said Pentagon will defend his bowling title. That's how confident I am in him. Well, we'll see about that then. So you're making him the favorite. So we'll go to the sports book. We'll go to the sports book and see if they have any odds before we go, so we can bet on it. But in fact, I'll even give you the order of how it's going to go. Okay. I'm going to go Pentagon 1. Mm-hmm. Conan 2. Okay. Phoenix 3. Okay. Ortiz, then Santana. All right. So we'll book it then. All right. Sounds good. All right, man. What do you think you're going to what's your bowling score going to be? Oh, I don't know. I'm going to go practice once before I go because I'm not going to go embarrass myself. So give me an over-under bowling number. 150. I'm taking the under for sure. Okay. All righty. Glenn, thank you very much. Looking forward to seeing you guys next week. Perfect. Media, I appreciate it. We went a little long this week. We will talk to you next week. All right. Take it easy. Thanks, Glenn. Bye.
Goodbye.